delighted to welcome back to the HENDON FC TV YouTube channel, HENDON boss Lee Allinson. Lee, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, all good, and looking forward to returning back to training tonight.
When you say all good, it's not really been that, has it? Because you and several other members of the squad and non-playing team members have had COVID. Talk us through kind of what it's been like and how everybody is.
Yeah, really tough. I have to be honest. I think you can see by my eyes. It's knocked us for six, to be honest. We made aware by one of the board members that was on the coach with us on the Saturday at Wimborne that he tested positive on the Monday. The team went out for their annual Christmas do on the Sunday, and then it kind of come to light in my household that there was a couple had fallen ill in Kylie and Luca, and a couple of players had just messaged me on the Thursday before training and said, "Gaff, I'm just not feeling too well." And it was Cuba first of all who had tested in the morning, and he'd had his result back within an hour and a half to say that he was positive. Then made some calls into some players, and a lot of them were feeling under the weather. So we just felt as a football club the best thing to do was to PCR everyone, because as we said there, there was a few that had tested negative on the flow tests. And then it just come in, it was just coming in quite thick and fast, really, with players testing positive, and we ended up getting tested in the house. All the management team, myself got it, Faye got it, the physio got it. I think we had 10 players in the end that had it, and it's been tough. It's been tough. It's not just for six in this house, I can tell you that now. It's been hard. But the players have served their 10 days now. A lot of them are on the mend, but we have to see tonight who's recovered properly, because I know, in feeling myself, that if I had to go out and train tonight, there's no way I could do it. It's a horrible illness, and it is tiring. So a little bit debilitating in the end. So we'll have to see where we are tonight and how the squad's shaping up.
But as far as everybody's kind of well-being and availability to play the game, subject to whoever knows what's going to happen over the next few days at Harrow on Monday, will go ahead as far as Hendon are concerned.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned now, listen, I think we're hopefully over the worst of it, and we won't be in a position again where, the club over the last 2 weeks in Simon, John, Nick have worked their socks off with myself trying to produce evidence to the league, and I understand why you do it, because you have to have less than 13 players, and but that's to come a time where you have to just shut the club down for 10 days, and the league should respect that personally. If you've got enough cases like we had, we wasn't trying to pull a fast one here. We were generally very ill, and to have to keep proving on every game that you've got illnesses and people are isolating, and have you got enough players, and are players registered and deregistered, and it become quite hard work, I have to be honest with you, especially on the back of 3 wins in a row. The last thing we wanted was to come down with COVID. So if we have to call games off, it was for a reason, and a valid reason at that. And I just felt the process was quite hard work, and I have to give credit to the board on this one, that worked really hard to make sure that we had everything in place was right and proper. And eventually we managed. Every game was a last minute thing. Coach was still booked to 8 on Saturday. We knew we couldn't get a side together, but we had to produce evidence again that we produced a week before. It still wasn't 10 days, so no one was out of isolation, and it was quite hard work, to be honest. But I know why the league have to do it, because I'm sure there'll be cases where teams do try and pull out of a game with a few cases. We had 9 first team players, physio, myself, kit people, board members, all gone down with it, and it went through the camp, and it went through it quite hard. So we're out of it, and I hope now it don't happen to us again, but we have to see where it takes us, because you don't know what's going to happen with Harrow. You don't know what's going to happen with other teams. You've seen Hayes have gone, Yate have gone now. So it's going to be a tough little period, but hopefully we get through it and we can get back to playing games of football.
Okay, so that's all sad stuff off the pitch, but hopefully looking better for us all now. So time to reflect on a kind of where we are. We're kind of halfway through the season. I wanted to start really, Lee, with pre-season, which isn't something I wouldn't normally do, but 30th of July, we played a very young Arsenal team and we had 947 people in. How good was that for you as a manager to see the ground looking so busy?
Yeah, fantastic. As I say, I think to have a crowd like that and in a special occasion was really nice. And I think we have got that. If we get into big occasions and big grounds, we will get the following. And it was a great evening. It was tarnished by the injury with Joe. Obviously, it took the gloss off it a little bit. But I think as a football club and we're in line with SJP, it was just a fantastic evening. The hard work that Rob has put in to the ground, and the way the setup is there now is fantastic. And I thought we managed it as a football club really well. And it was just great to have such a big crowd and a nice evening, And as I say, I think the only negative to take out of that was the loss of Joe White for such a long period. And that was the hard thing to take. But as an evening and as a football club, I thought it was a great night. And hopefully we can have many more of them in times to come.
So we had a great night, though, as you said, that the injury to Joe was a huge blow. So the league season started away at Truro. So though they're, I think, playing in Devon this season, it was our furthest trip, possibly one of the hardest games on paper because they were one of the favourites to do really well. Could you believe that we came away with a 4-0 win on the opening day?
No, I mean we were trying to bring a centre forward all week, because the week before we lost Cuba Gordon and we lost Liam Brooks as well, so straight away the squad was massively depleted. We spoke about bringing a forward in that we just couldn't get through the door. I will say this, and I think a lot of managers, you're starting to slowly see about availability of players now, but back then it was so tough to bring players through the door. So we couldn't get anyone in, and we decided just to change formation and try something new. Then you've got the Tommy Smith not played a competitive league game for months. Lewis Hobbs walked through the door for his first game, but it just kind of clicked. And I think first games of the season, you can have games like that. And Wilson Carvalho that day, Sean Lucien both played up front, were brilliant. And it was a special day. It was a great result, and one at the time we actually really needed, because the next three after that were very tough, and with a depleted squad, it was a very good victory.
So the game after Truro was the home game against another team fancied to go on this season, Hayes and Yedding. For 20 minutes, half an hour in that game, I thought we were fantastic. We were 2-0 up. Then what happened after that?
You come up against probably the best step free forward line that I've seen ever at this level. We'd watched them against Enfield in pre-season, and pre-season's always false. But when you play someone your level, you always know they're going to be a competitive pre-season game. I think they stuck 7 past them, which kind of told you what you need to know about them. And listen, but again, you go back to, okay, they come back to 2-2. They were the better side. They looked like the side that was going to win. But I always felt that we were in the game with a chance because of how attack-minded they are. You lose Tommy Brewer off the pitch through injury. He's getting treatment. They score with 10 men. You bring Tommy Smith on, who we'd rested for the game because we knew we had to ease him back in. We'd made our 3 subs, and Tommy Smith does a leg injury. He then comes off the pitch. We've now got 10 men for the last 15, 20 minutes. And they were ruthless. They were relentless. And I thought they were very, very good on the evening. And I thought they thoroughly deserved their victory in the end, although I'd like to have seen us with our full strength side at that day, but it wasn't to be. And I still feel to this day that they're the best side we've played this season. If I'm honest, I thought they were very good.
So, Lee, that was the first of 3 successive defeats. So the 6 goals we let in against Hayes, and then we had a disappointing 3-1 home defeat against Dorchester, and then we shipped another 3 against Farnborough. How worried were you at that stage that, the defeats, the goals being conceded?
I think you've got to go to, we go to Dorchester and we didn't start well. We had no centre forward in the building. We played Jaden Clark up front, who doesn't play up front. We were very average. Well, I thought we were poor first half against Dorchester. You come out second half, we decided to put Kyan Nicholas up front, and after 46 minutes, Ricardo gets sent off. So straight away you're on the back foot, and I thought the way we rallied second half was really good, and if we'd have nicked a draw out of that, you know, we'd have said great. We got hit with Fred being up for the corner in the last minute, and we went to Farnborough, who, you know, are spending good money, got very good players in the football club this year, players that you'd never dream of playing at this level, and for 25, 30 minutes, we were competitive. We were the better side. I felt we had the best chance. And Christian Smith gets sent off. So for 2 games, well, actually 3 games, Hayes, Dorchester and Farnborough, we played with 10 men. So really hard. And then when you come up against a good side like Farnborough, they're going to punish you. And that's what they've done on the day. But I wasn't too despondent because, you know, we had no Liam Brooks, we had no Joe White, we had no Cuba Gordon, we had other players missing. I could go through the group of who we'd had missing. And I said to you all along, you know, once we get them fit, we'll be a different animal. But at the time, we couldn't get them fit, and it was tough at the time.
We finished the month with the bank holiday victory against local rivals Harrow Borough. But a few days later, it's the start of September, and we crash out of the FA Cup at the first attempt, losing at Corby. That must have been a huge blow to you.
Always is. I think the FA Cup, you know, there's always going to be upsets. I knew when the draw come out, it wasn't a nice draw, because one thing Corby have got is experience, players that have played levels above what we're in now. And on their day that they'll be very good. I thought, you know, we played Brooksy that day. It was his first game back from Bromsgrove, and he was just off the pace slightly, which we knew was going to happen. You know, we were clutching at straws, really, if I'm honest, because we just didn't have a squad to pick from. You know, I felt little disciplinary problems, more out of frustration than anything else. I think we were doing very well, but we were getting frustrated really quickly. And we played actually okay first half, number of corners, number of opportunities and entries without really creating. But they, you know, a magical goal to win them the tie. But it was frustrating because I like FA Cups. I like coming through and going on a run. But it wasn't to be. And that's the beauty of FA Cup. You'll have years where you have a fantastic run. You could have 4 or 5 years where you have nothing. And that's what knockout competition is. And unfortunately, this year it wasn't to be.
And the rest of the month, kind of inconsistency has probably been our biggest challenge in the first few months of the season. We had good league wins against Merthyr and Wimborne, but Harrow did us in the League Cup, and we lost at Walton. So is that really frustrating for you as a manager? You just can't get consistency going?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. We just couldn't. We couldn't get a consistency. I felt that one week we would be good. I mean, the one pleasing thing for me that I knew we were in and around okay, because I felt we were competitive every game. Although, you know, there were stages. You look at the team that played against Harrow after Corby. It was so depleted. It wasn't the side that I had dreamed of building at Hendon. You know, it wasn't the players that I brought into the football club. It was a group of players that we were putting together because we were short in every department with injuries and other factors with suspensions, and so it was really tough. But I knew, you know, the Merthyr game was good. I thought we were really good that day. We then played Walton Casuals on the Tuesday, and for 80 minutes, you know, I thought we were excellent. But again, we had disciplinary problems, and we got very tired in the last 10 minutes, and they ended up punishing us. But I did feel like we were on the right track, and talking with the management team, and, you know, I felt that we were ready to turn a corner, but we needed a consistency, which we weren't quite getting at the time. It was win one, lose one, win one, lose two. We weren't drawing any games of football. But I did feel like we were slowly turning the corner, and you know, we just needed to tweak one or two things, which is what we've done. We brought Joe Budd in, which I thought was a good little signing from us in terms of, you know, just give us a little bit of stability in midfield, which we were probably lacking. And, you know, and we were a little bit in and out, but we started to see some improvements, I felt, in the side.
You touched on discipline or lack of at times, and that's really kind of hurt us, hasn't it, in the first few games, first few months of the season?
Yeah, definitely. And I go back to, I really believe it was built out of frustration because, I think you've seen in the last few weeks where the team can get to. And when you're not hitting them heights, it becomes frustrating. You become frustrated as a manager, you become frustrated as a player. I've never seen Sean Lucian, kick out or retaliate. I've never seen Simeon Alarian. And I think it was just frustration. And, we had to bring some rules into the camp because it's easy to start fighting when you're losing games of football. It's easy to retaliate, but you need to have controlled aggression. And we wasn't having that. And, but I do really believe that it come out of frustration. And I think we've sorted it because we're not a dirty team. We were just making real silly errors. And I like that they care. I like that they wanted to go toe to toe with everyone, but you've got to do it in the right way. And we would do it in the wrong way. And some of the sending off, as I said back then, Christian Smith's was a professional foul. Ricardo's was 2 yellow cards. So there was a couple of sending offs in there which were not for retaliation, but some of the sending offs were real stupidity, which we couldn't afford at the time. And that was why we couldn't get a settled side together, in my opinion, because of lack of discipline in them areas.
So we go into October and things really aren't getting a lot better, really. We've got 3 league defeats, a draw. We did have a great win against Taunton, but then, of course, we had another tough cup draw away at Folkestone. I guess no surprise, really, that they beat us as well. It was a tough month, October.
Yeah, really, really tough month. We had a great result against Taunton. And then I'm just trying to get the fixtures up now where we are. I felt that we had, we just went on a run where we just couldn't get, again, I felt we were playing very well, but just not really getting the rub of the green. And we had to just try, and we went to Folkestone, if I recall, in the trophy, and I thought we were outstanding on the day. I thought we played so well, and just we were getting then done by silly little errors, which wasn't really like us, in terms of we were making crucial errors, and we seemed to get punished for every single error that we made. But I'm a believer in football that it starts to turn around, and that we started to cut them errors out. But we've had to have some real home truths in the changing room this year, because it becomes so frustrating when you play well in football matches and get beat. But we had to keep believing in what we're trying to do, the process that we're trying to build, and hope that it would turn around. But it was a tough time because I felt that we were really competitive in every game. But one mistake, one error, one lapse of concentration, we'd be punished. Yet we had to work so hard the other end to score goals. And I think that was the biggest frustration. We'd lost Joe White again. But, we were slowly, I still felt it. I still felt we were slowly turning the corner and finding our best side. I thought Brooksy had really, really come to the table this season. I think he's been outstanding. We forget that Lucas Perry's playing through a hip problem that's going to keep him out the side for a while now. But players were really trying for the football club. And I think that was the biggest factor that I felt that the tide would turn. I think for me, the biggest one was we went to Salisbury. And although we went on a little bad run after that with other factors in there, I think with the Chesham incident. But Salisbury away, I thought we were absolutely different class. We worked our socks off on the day. We played extremely well. Brooksy was great, and the performance was really good. And I just felt that was the little bit of a turning point where I thought, yeah, the side have got something about it, and if we get everyone fit, that we'll be in a really good place with it.
So as you mentioned, that the Salisbury win at the beginning of November was outstanding. I'm not sure at that point anybody could quite see us coming away with a 2-0 win, but again, Lee, it was the lack of consistency on the Tuesday night after that. We lost out in the County Cup, albeit with not a full team, against Hanwell. And then a day that will not stay in the memory for any good reason was the 13th of November when we were away at Chesham. And just talk me through from your perspective what happened with Luca. Obviously, I was there. Many people were there. It was the most frightening, extraordinary thing I think I've ever seen on a football ground.
Yeah, just come out of nowhere. It was a really frightening time. Looking back now, I should have protected my players. I should have protected Luca. I should have protected my family better. I've got a lot of regret from the game, if I'm honest. But I'm learning the game as well myself, and I probably needed someone to come and probably take the emotion out of it for me and help me. The game should never have been played. It's a proven fact. The game should never have been played. The kid should have had an ambulance there waiting for him. Should never allowed him to go in the car with my wife to the hospital in case he had another seizure. I should have just stood firm. We had it just shouldn't have happened, and it was a horrible incident. It was a horrible day. The quicker I got out there, the better. If I'm honest, my mind wasn't focused on the game. When your captain's got tears in his eyes, your centre forward he's very good friends with, your left back was devastated. Even people that had come in on loan who weren't even really close to Lucas, saying how much of an effect it had on him. When you see one of your teammates collapse, and it wasn't just it was real scary moments. And I'll say for the first time, probably the first time I'd ever thought that I probably lost someone close to me at the time. I thought he was gone. It was awful, and that a minute before kickoff is not something that we should have had to deal with. I should have protected everyone, and I should have wrapped the team up. We should have walked in, got changed, and gone home and rescheduled the game. And that's probably my biggest regret. And we just wasn't right on the day. I thought it was a horrible performance, and one that I didn't really care about, if I'm honest. It was just one of them days to get out of there as quickly as we could and regroup, and it did have an effect. I really believe that. It had an effect. Not saying, as I said before, to take nothing away from Cheshire, and they were fantastic on the day. And I think if I'd have said, look, we're not willing to play this, I think they would have respected that completely. But you get caught up in the moment and in the bit of football where you think, oh, we've got to play the game because we're here now. We're about to kick off, and Lucas sort of come round, and he can't remember anything. But well, that's all right. I should never have done it. I should never. We should have wrapped up and gone home and rescheduled that game, to be honest. And it just set us off again where we'd been so good. And I know the results weren't, fantastic. We couldn't get on a winning run, but I just felt that performances were really starting to turn. We just beat Salisbury. We played really well at Folkestone. We come from, even the Poole game when we lost 2-1, we were excellent that day. We'd lost big players in Tommy Brewer and Christian Smith at 1-0 up. We were really starting to turn. And that game for me was just one of them that, best left back there and forgotten about as quickly as we could, because it was it really did have an effect.
I think that the Chesham, we had Chesham soon after again, didn't we? Midweek, and they did us 3-0, and I think that was possibly a low. But come the Saturday, we've got a new player who's joined us, and suddenly we beat Bolton 3-1. We stick another 3 past Met Police in the first game and the last game, I think in December, and I think the last game we played, we stick 4 past Wimborne. Erin Canali from Southend. What can you tell me about him?
Yeah, I think you go back though. Before that, we played really well against Beaconsfield on the Monday and made a big mistake, which we spoke to Fred about, and we then brought in another keeper for the Weston-super-Mare game. I fought against Weston-super-Mare for 45 minutes. I thought we were absolutely superb. And then the Chesham game, like you say, was for me was probably the worst performance of the season. They just seem to have this knack over us that they're very difficult to beat. I thought that we, after speaking to the management team, and we needed to go back to basics. We needed to make things simpler at the football club. We needed to bring some rules and regulations into the football club. I was probably a little bit too lenient on letting 1 or 2 things go, which I'm not normally like. And we changed quite quickly. And we just thought that Sam Corcoran, who's been fantastic for us this season in terms of he's that in between with the players and the coaching team. He's said from day one, you have to have Sam Corcoran around your football club for what he brings. He's starting to get himself fit, which is a benefit to us as well, because he's a very good footballer. And he knew Erin, and he said, look, Lee, if you get him, I'm telling you, he'll be a great signing for us. And lo and behold, he has been. He's been very good. I thought the performance against Walton Casuals, it's not just Erin. No, it's as a group of players, and the performance, the work rate, the desire, Joe White coming back, Liam Brooks, Simeon going in at left back, really good. Cuba Gordon, you know, Tommy Brewer comes off after 5 minutes against Walton Casuals. Cuba Gordon goes on at centre half. You know, before the game was really struggling himself. So, you know, there was a combination of a few things that have started to work for us. And I still believe in the group. I think it's a really, really good side. But unfortunately, we're not in a position where some clubs are at this level, and some clubs have got financial backing that allows them to have a really good squad around the. You know, if we go and get 2 or 3 injuries, we do struggle, and that's football. That's life. We know where we are. I'm happy where we are, but we do have to understand that we're not in that financial power where, oh, we lose Joe White, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go and get another centre forward and he'll score me 25 goals. It doesn't work like that. We haven't got that financial power to do that. So we have to make that aware. And, you know, Erin's brought a great energy to the group. He's been really good. Joe's getting fitter and fitter every week. Liam Brooks is just, for me, probably him, Lucas Perry, players of the season so far. And then you go Jaden Clark, you know, not mention of him yet. Jaden Clark playing right wing, left wing for the last 18 months, probably drive each other insane. He drives me mad. I drive him mad. Feel there's more to come. See him in a friendly against Hemel central midfield, and he looks like he's never played anywhere else his entire life. I think he's been absolutely superb. He's one of the first names on the team sheet at the moment. By the way, he's been playing. Hamza's come in from nowhere. You know, no club's really given him an opportunity. Been a revelation for the football club. Absolutely superb. So the whole thing starts to click, and you get the midfield right. You know, before that, I thought Forbes, he'd been really good, but it's just started to slowly click into place in terms of people knowing their jobs and winning and losing the habits, you know, and if you cut your mistakes out, I firmly believe we've got goals in the team, which we've shown in the last 3 games. But the group are good. You know, they've bought into the new rules, a new restructure that we've got in place now, and it's been good. But we have to keep going forward. But you know, going back to the Erin, he just brought a freshness, an energy, a desire. And when you've got 11 people that have got a desire to run for a brick wall for you, you've got more chance than in winning than you have losing. And that's what I think we've done really well this year.
So we don't know at the time of recording. Let's hope we can keep him for a little bit longer. What we do know, fingers crossed, is that it will be away at Harrow on the 27th, sort of Boxing Day. Thoughts?
Yeah, looking forward to it. You know, I've liked Steve a lot. I've got a lot of time for him. You know, we've just got to. I've got to assess where the squad's going to be. You know, listen, as I said to you when we started this interview, I'm struggling myself at the moment. I'm not going to lie. I'm shattered, tired. I've done a little bit of a session yesterday with Joe White, who's just come out of isolation, you know, struggling to breathe. We've done 25 minutes. So I don't know where the group's going to be tonight. We need to see it. We need to see where we are. I don't expect us to be as fluent and as good as we have been in the last 3 games. If I'm honest, I think it's going to take us a little bit of time. But we have to just try and patch up the best we can. We'll train tonight. We'll train Thursday, the 23rd. And then we'll go to Harrow and see where we're at. I think the nice thing will be we'll just be back at football and playing, because it's been a tough 10 days. But you know, we're looking forward to it. We just have to make sure the group are in a good enough place that we're, you know, the injuries are improving, which is good. It's going to take a little bit of time. I don't think we're going to see anyone magically return from that side of it. But the players that were playing at the time were hopefully going to be recovered. But it has taken its toll. You know, 2 or 3 of the players were quite ill with it. 1 or 2 of them, no symptoms at all. And some others were just mild symptoms. But we don't know the long-term effects of that. And that's what we have to assess tonight. But it'll just be great to get in and see the boys, because they were doing so well, you know, and I've said it all along. I keep saying that I really believe when we've got a full side out, you don't compete and beat some of the sides we beat this year unless you're a good side. And I firmly believe we're a good side, but we have to find a consistency, and we have to keep everyone fit, because we go back to budgets and I don't like going back to it, but it is what it is. You know, we have to keep our feet firmly on the ground of where we are as a football club. The one thing I think as a football club that we're doing is we're improving on and off the pitch. And if we're doing that, that's all right for me. But I do think with the squad that we've got, if we get everyone fit, there's no reason why we've to keep. You look at Met Police. Performance against Met Police, sensational from us. I thought we were fantastic on the night. But they've, that Gav's done a fantastic job there. Hardly any money. He's kept his majority of his good players fit, and it makes such a difference. We go back to Cuba Gordon's missed 19 games this season. Joe White's missed 16 games this season. Liam Brooks has missed 7 games. LP's missed 7-8 games. Sean Lucian's missed probably 10 now with suspension. His own fault, first 3, but with the injury now. So we've been very, very unfortunate. And when you build a side and you work around your budget, you need your big players fit and to play. And when they're fit and playing, we seem to do all right. When they're not fit and playing, we don't seem to do great. So I think that shows you where we are as a squad and as a team. But I think if we keep everyone fit, there's no reason why we can't have some fun this second part of the season. There's no pressure on us. We're in a good place. Let's just hope that everyone recovers well enough, and we can start putting on the same performances as we was in the last 3, because the last 3 performances were really good.